Hey everyone, welcome into an at-home edition of the Broncos Breakdown. Matthew Peterson here from my parents' house at home for the holidays, but I want to talk about a couple of good pieces of news that came in for the Broncos going into NFL Week 17 against the Bengals on the road with an opportunity, like last week, to clinch your first playoff spot since 2015. I think we've all seen the history out there that the circumstances are nearly identical to the last time the Broncos clinched a playoff spot, where 2015, they had the Bengals on the road with the score being identical the previous week, 34-27. So history is kind of pointing towards a Broncos win and them clinching a playoff spot. But three things that really jump out to me as some really good potential breaks and just some good news altogether to kind of lift morale a little bit after last week's loss. So, number one, this one isn't very good, but you can kind of look as good. The Kansas City Chiefs clinched the number one seed. Why is that good? Well, it means they have nothing to play for in Week 18 when the Broncos host Kansas City. So the Chiefs, who will have a bye for the Super Wild Card weekend, played on a Wednesday, they might look at Week 18 as we could basically go 3 weeks with resting our starters, right? This is kind of like a week and a half break before the start of Week 18 since they played on a Wednesday. And then if they don't play their guys on Week 18, well, that's one full week off after that. Then the wild card weekend before hosting a divisional game. So if Denver were to come up short in Cincinnati, it's going to be a good Bengals team. Burrow, Higgins, Chase, they're going to put up points. There's a little bit of a safety net of, well, you probably aren't going to face Patrick Mahomes. Now, probably. I don't know for sure. Andy Reid is a little bit of a tough coach, meaning like he's not a, coaching afraid kind of guy. He plays the starters in the preseason, for crying out loud. So he may not look at the rest as an advantage. He's had plenty of experience of learning what's the best combination for making sure we don't become rusty because of our rest. My suspicion is with Mahomes' ankle injury, which I think he's kind of just being, I wouldn't say a baby about it, but he loves to have the camera on him when he's injured, and then he can kind of put the, cape on and tear it off when he comes back on the field the very next drive. I've seen just one too many times. But my suspicion is with Mahomes battling an injury, Chris Jones missed the Steelers game with an injury, Travis Kelce just looks old and out of shape. They might rest those three guys against the Broncos. So we'd see Carson Wentz at quarterback, who is very capable of winning a game, right? I don't think it's an absolute shoo-in, but we can all agree that we'd probably rather face Carson Wentz than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not really afraid of jinxing myself there. So there are a couple of guys that are just like kind of battling some injuries, some 50-50 guys that could play if needed, but since it's not an important game, they have nothing to play for other than pride. When that's an important thing, don't get me wrong. They might sit some of their key players, which would be a big break for Denver if they go into that game going, all right, win and we're in, and we're not facing a full Chiefs team with all their firepower. So that's the first bit of good news here. Second bit is Riley Moss is back. The Broncos corner opposite of Pat Surtain has missed the last 3 games, 4 weeks with a knee injury he suffered in the Raiders game about a month ago at this point now. And so it's great to have him back because Levi Wallace didn't work out. Denver ended up moving on from him altogether. I think they might have brought him back on the practice squad, but they waived him. And then Chris Abrams-Draine, the rookie, I thought did a solid job, but we can all agree that Riley Moss is a much better option. So, yeah, I think getting Riley Moss back, along with a couple other guys, like highlight reel Jaleel McLaughlin, the running back, he is back as well, which is a nice boost to the run game because he was playing pretty well before that quad injury knocked him out for the Chargers game. So, encouraging stuff to see him. Also, remember Tyler Bidet, the running back who was awesome in the Bucs game, had like 92 yards, great fourth quarter. Then he gets injured in the Jets game the very next week, placed on injured reserve. He was activated off IR. Now, he will not play this Saturday, tomorrow against the Bengals, but hopefully you can get him back maybe for Week 18 or a playoff game, knock on wood. So, all in all, some encouraging stuff on the injury front. Now, before we talk about the last piece of good news and just kind of talk about the matchup in general, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. I think a lot of us are probably spending a lot of time with our families during the holidays, and that can kind of drive people up the wall a little bit. So if you're trying to escape and maybe watch a couple of games on TV, well, throw up Prize Picks as well, because all you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash during Pickmas. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And the way I like to kind of use Prize Picks is, hey, watching a game with my fiance and she's not a very big football fan. All right, let's make some selections on Prize Picks, and if we go 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, whatever it may be, that's a nice dinner paid for right there. So download the Prize Picks app today and use that code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. So the last bit of good news that I want to share is T. Higgins, which you don't root for injuries, but the Bengals star wide receiver is questionable. Now, my guess is he will play. Maybe if something goes wrong during warmups, he ends up not playing, but as of right now, I think he's probably going to play. It's a must-win game for Cincinnati, so him playing in a contract year since he was franchise tagged, like these are big moments right here. Teams want to see how stars act when, the lights are the brightest. So my guess is T. Higgins will be available, but he's probably not going to be 100%, right? He's probably not going to be able to make all the cuts and run all the routes he really wants to. So with Riley Moss coming back from a knee injury, it only kind of seems fair that the guy he's going to be going up against for much of the game is also kind of banged up as well. Somewhat, cancel each other out. So with that in mind, the big matchup I cannot wait to watch is Pat Surtain versus Jamar Chase. You've got the NFL Triple Crown leader in Chase, leader in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, going up against the number one corner, undoubted in my eyes, PS2. You've got not David versus Goliath. You've got Goliath versus Goliath here. I mean, two juggernauts will be going at it. A Cold War, if you will. I just watched the movie Bridge of Spies on the plane. Very good movie. Drop a movie recommendation if you have one for me for my flight home. But yeah, cannot wait for that matchup. It's going to be, in my eyes, must-see TV for any football fan out there. But we'll have a watch party for this Broncos-Bengals Saturday game, so make sure you tune in. We'll go live an hour before kickoff, so if you're looking to kind of watch the game with a couple other Broncos fans out there, join our watch party here at the channel. Make sure to subscribe and like the video too. Really appreciate everyone's support of the channel and whatnot. Hope you guys watching had a wonderful Christmas and happy upcoming New Year to you. But yeah, a couple of good, just overall positive things coming Denver's way, I'd say, with the Chiefs maybe resting their guys in Week 18, Riley Moss, Jaleel McLaughlin back, and T. Higgins questionable. So with Moss kind of coming back from an injury himself, it seems only fair that, all right, you two are both going to be kind of limping in this game a little bit, so no one has a superior advantage over the other one. All right, that will do it for us on our at-home edition of the Broncos Breakdown. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all later.